morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. I'm Mary Conley Eggert, founder and co-executive director of Global Waterworks, a charitable organization that's focused on connecting those in search of solutions with the experts, technologies, and best practices that make water work. And thrilled to be here with Charlotte Stewart, who's a young rising professional within the SWAN organization, a partner to Global Waterworks. And she's actually the Smart Water Systems Engineer for Anglian Water, a very innovative utility in the UK. And I've asked her to share with us a bit about what it means to be a woman in water with this Women's History Month, and how she has found her career to be accelerated through experiences. And Charlotte, maybe you could tell us, how long have you been working in the water sector and what drew you to water?
So I have been working in the water sector now for 3 years, all of that time in Anglian Water. So it's often one of those funny anecdotal things in Anglian Water, that once you're in Anglian Water, you don't leave Anglian Water, and I can see that being the case. It's been absolutely fantastic to be a part of a company that really just wants to drive the best for our customers and our community, and that really sustainable development within the area. I was drawn to the water industry because I feel very much aligned with the genuine good that we're doing in this industry, particularly Anglian Water. I feel really that is one of the core fundamental beliefs that we put forward, and in every day-to-day work, it's something that we actually reward, something we encourage, and something that we really strive to do as a business. And that's not just the people that are on the front line. That is people that are much further up the chain and not directly impacting and not always directly interacting with customers, but you can still see down the line how the role that you play actually does impact and does actually improve the lives of customers.
Yes, and you guys have been a leader, I know, with the SWAN forum, and also demonstrating the digital twin effectiveness. And that's your focus now, but you were trained as a chemist. So can you tell us a little bit about your current work and how you're working now to make that intelligent water?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I did chemistry at university, and then didn't really know where that was going to take me next. And the water industry and moving into Anglian Water gave me a little bit more of that technical detail that I was striving for. It's something that just sparks that passion, and something that really gets me focused and interested, and being actually able to understand the tangibles and really see the difference that I'm making. So within optimization, which is the department that I work in at Anglian Water, we work in smart water systems, and part of my role is really improving the way our operations run, improving the way our systems are operated, to ensure that we're running in the most efficient, most effective way. That's not just assets, that's how we manage our data, how we operate our pumps, how we operate our network, and really just understanding exactly what is going on underground, so that we can use that infrastructure in the best way possible.
Yeah, so give me a day in the life, like Charlotte Stewart, maybe last week, a specific example that you can think of, an experience where you saw the impact of the water sector impacting your constituents.
So probably something for me that really, one of the projects that I'm a part of is condition assessment. And this is assessing the condition of some of our mains in the network. And that's for me, that is a project where I'm looking at the front line. I'm looking at the direct impact on our customers. I'm understanding whether there's transients in the network, understanding if there's any ingress in our mains, if the condition has deteriorated to a point that customers are starting to see or potentially going to experience water quality issues down the line. And understanding the science and the hydraulics and the physics behind that is something that personally for me gets me excited, and I find really interesting, being able to logically work through it and understand the the real true cause that's led to that problem, and doing that real risk analysis. So for me, that's one of my projects that puts me really understanding how we're going to actually impact our customers and how we're actually going to affect them. And really an opportunity to improve that through new innovative technologies that are always in the market, and new ones coming out daily. So we've worked with some fantastic companies, and part of my role in that project is to find new companies, to trial new technologies, understand whether they're going to provide us with the insight and the value that we need, and then really to carry out those processes and make that part of our day-to-day, part of our decisions, and really make that data-driven decisions on how we maintain and repair our network. Another one of the projects that I work on is condition-based monitoring. So this is installing sensors and monitoring equipment onto pumping or rotating assets. And this is with the aim of us moving away from this reactive or timed-based maintenance, where we go out to a pump once every year on a really remote, isolated booster site, let's say, and we carry out some standard maintenance routine activity that we carry out every year because we've got a schedule from the pump manufacturer that says that this routine activity needs to be carried out once a year. Moving away from that real timed maintenance into a more proactive, preventative maintenance plan, but based on what the asset is actually telling us, how it's actually performing, what the health of that asset is, and then also being able to understand exactly how the asset is performing, and whether actually we're operating it in the most effective way possible. And that really leads into, so I've got quite a nice link between those two projects, because that really leads into condition assessment of our mains, because if our pumps are working in an effective way and pumping in the most efficient way possible, not leading to transients further down in the network, then we're hopefully not going to be causing damage to the mains and the network downstream. And then you're avoiding any additional water quality incidents, you're avoiding any leakage, any bursts. If we're using all of that data and working through those swan layers to really understand what our assets in the ground are doing, we've got the sensors on them, we're making data-driven decisions off the back of that, and then we've got a full holistic picture of our network. So I really benefit day to day in that actually my projects that I work on, I get to see a lot of how those swan layers, how they all link together, and I get a really nice view of all the overlaps there, which is something that not everybody gets. So I feel really fortunate in my role that I have a really good overview of that, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable because I'm getting to see that real end to end.
Well, you touched on some really key things: the predictive maintenance, the opportunity to cut costs, build efficiency, reduce energy requirements, with understanding where our pumps are at and where our pipes are. And then also the swan layer, because we want to keep this interview to a certain time. I'm going to put a bunch of links in, but it sounds like we'll have to have you back here to introduce people to that. A wonderful movement from the manual into the automated and then optimized, as you said your job is. And because it's Women's History Month, we'd love to get your thoughts on how has it been as a woman? Have you noticed that you have more opportunities, different opportunities, or less opportunities than your male counterparts? And why do you think that is?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and I don't necessarily for myself feel like it's something that's ever held me back. I'm very aware and very conscious that I'm in an industry that is male dominated, and probably at a minority in quite a lot of situations. I've very often sat in team meetings or meetings with other departments, other colleagues, and thought, hang on a second, I'm possibly the only person, the only female in this room, or one of maybe two or three. So yeah, often the minority in that, but I've never really experienced that holding me back in any sense. It's actually been quite satisfying sometimes. to have conversations with people that I can tell maybe they've got a misconception and they're thinking that I'm probably not going to know all the ins and outs and know exactly what I'm talking about. And then as the conversation goes on, you can see them coming around and proving them wrong, and that's really enjoyable. To actually to have that moment where you can see them buying into it and realizing that actually I'm just as capable as themselves or as any other male counterpart in my position.
Yes.
So yeah, it's not something that's held me back, I don't think. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to have so many opportunities, and
Yes.
yeah, just take them as they come.
Well, and I think it's clear that you're not a person who gets held back. You explore and you reach for things. And I know you said this Foundation for Science and Technology is an area that you reached for, and you are now part of that collaboration. Could you tell us about that, and any other career moves that you think have really helped you accelerate your position?
Yeah, absolutely. The Foundation for Science and Technology set up the Future Leaders organization. I think it was about 3 years ago now. This year will be the 4th year that it's been running. And each year, a cohort of 30 young professionals across industry, research, and sort of civil service government roles are brought together to really just expand our network and collaborate with each other and start to get a real understanding for how all of these sectors bring together science and technology. They overlap so much in so many ways that I didn't realize and didn't fully appreciate a year ago. And then it's also given the opportunity not just for us to interact with each other in our cohort of that year group, but actually previous cohorts and future cohorts. It's going to continue to expand and grow, and it's going to become this massive network in itself of people that can rely on each other and reach out to each other and take learning and opportunities from each other as well. So there's even people sharing job opportunities throughout that network now. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic to be a part of, and something that I think will probably serve me for years to come.
Yes, and that came from you just venturing out, seeing the opportunity, applying, and then being part of that 30 of the 150 applicants because of your enthusiasm, I'm sure. And
yeah, it was something that a colleague of mine spotted on LinkedIn and just said, hey, do you think this would be any good? And ended up applying, thinking nothing of it, thinking, gosh, there'll be hundreds of applicants. I won't even hear another thing about this. And was fortunate enough to be selected, and was the only person from the water industry in my cohort that year. So I felt quite a lot of responsibility to represent the water industry in my cohort, which was absolutely fantastic.
yeah, well, I'm sure you're doing a super job there as you are here. And just curious, what does Charlotte do when she unwinds and gets out of the water sector, leaves work for the day?
When I leave work, so my dog is curled up behind me at the moment, waiting for her afternoon walk. So often walking her, heading to the gym with my partner. Yeah, just spending a bit of time outdoors, really, more than anything.
Yeah. Oh, so super. And we'd love to have you chime in. We have a Women in Water group in the Global Waterworks community. And any thoughts on what you'd like to see happen in the Global Waterworks, which is a network of, networked water organizations?
Yeah, no, I mean, just talking through it earlier today, actually, seeing already that there's some fantastic opportunities for, I've spotted some of the things that I'm already working on, being able to find new suppliers, find new technologies that are emerging and that other companies have worked with and proven and had success with. And even the ones that they haven't, it gives us an opportunity to share where there's maybe some development points that we can support each other on, and some learning that we can take from that to help suppliers as well, and not just help ourselves. So yeah, for me, that already looks like an exciting avenue for me to explore further.
Yeah, well, we look forward to continuing to work with you and the amazing team that Andy's set up at Angling Water, and with our SWAN Rising Young Professionals. And for everyone watching this, that is a free opportunity for college and youth to get involved in smart water. The Rising Young Professionals Group is not a fee-based situation, but gives you exposure to all of the movers and shakers handling data and communications in the water sector. So Charlotte, such a pleasure to chat with you about this, learn a little bit more about your work, and I'm going to forward some of the solutions on predictive maintenance that may be helpful to you, but welcome also your suggestions for technologies or partners who are really doing a great job. And
Brilliant, thank you.
yes, and thanks for inspiring other young professionals, both male and female, and reminding women that, we get sort of what we ask for, and our positive outlook can really help shape some of that and hopefully overcome some hurdles of disbelief. So
Definitely.
yeah, thank you so much. We'll stay in touch.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mary.